Hello everyone and welcome back. So quirky design, dramatic styling and bright trims and also practical. Well, that is what today's car is all about, which is this Hyundai Sonata. Well, Hyundai Sonata is a good way to attract attention while you're driving on road, and especially for a mid-size sedan. So in today's video, let's find out everything in detail about this Hyundai Sonata. Before I move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that subscription button and make sure to leave all the notifications on so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video. And also you can go over to my channel and see lots of review videos that I have posted. So yeah, which is why it's better to subscribe. And also while you're here, check out my Instagram profile. That's my handle out there, and you can go there and give me a follow, and you can follow all the behind the scenes updates about all the car reviews that I get. Now the reason I mentioned the word dramatic was the fact that this Hyundai Sonata has a lot going all around, but especially in the front. So you get this big grille out here which is black, and then there is this chrome stripes on it, and then this Hyundai badging which is in the class design, and at the bottom there is another bit of grille which continues, and down at the bottom you will see gloss black plastic trim, and there is this another piece of chrome sort of strip that goes in the middle, not in the middle actually, at the bottom, and it continues from one end to the other. This headlight cluster is a LED headlight cluster, and also there are DRLs in them, and those DRLs also convert into turn signals. But there is another bit of line out here that you see which is like a silver trim. That's actually a light too, so it's just like a DRL, so it doesn't turn into turn signal, but just it's a DRL which continues somewhere out here in between, and then there is a chrome strip that continues all the way till the back. And also there are no fog lights on this Hyundai Sonata, and there are these vents out here which I'm happy to report that they are not the fake vents, but actually they do some works. They channel the air from here outside, so aerodynamically making this Sonata efficient. Now continuing on the side, that same chrome strip that you saw from the front bumper continues out here and goes as a full surround around these windows, and you get 18-inch alloy rims, and these are Pirelli all season P0 tires that you get with this one. And there is another black bit of glossy plastic trim that you will find at the bottom, and also you would notice there are lots of lines that follow on the side profile. So on the arches there are quite some lines, sharp ones, and also out here on the top there are a couple of lines at the bottom, on the rear door and on the front door. So yeah, it actually has a lot of lines on the side profile. And when it comes to the side mirror, this is power foldable, power adjustable, and also it's got the LED turn signal inside it, and also it's got the blind spot warning system in it, and one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. And these doors are keyless entry doors, the smart keyless entry door handles. And in the US version of the Hyundai Sonata, you can actually put a digital key, so it's called the smart digital key. So what happens, using the app you can just use the key and your phone basically as a key, and then you can just tap it on the handle and then you can open. It actually helps to give more access to your family members if they ever want to. So instead of having key, you can just have the phone and then you can just tap on it and then use it. Pretty cool. And in the back you get these tail lights which have this sort of fin out here which you see. Again, that's all for the aerodynamic purposes, so there is no vortices that form in the back. And there's also this shape that sort of has this edge to it, so these lights actually have a edge, and then the actual rear end sort of tapers down at the bottom, and then there is this black bit of again glossy plastic that continues on the side. Now in the back again a lot is going on, so bear with me while I'll explain everything that is going on out here. But first of all, there's this sharp bend out here in the boot, and you get this sort of small spoiler, like a lift spoiler out here, and then these are LED tail light cluster, and then there is this bar out here in the center. Again, that is also LED, and it runs continuously like a C shape, but then sort of connected together like this, and it looks absolutely gorgeous at night. I love this design of the tail lights out here, and then there is the Sonata badging out here, and also the Hyundai badging, and this dot that you see out here is the camera, which is the reversing camera. Now when it comes to the rear visibility, the visibility is decent enough, I would say, but in case you still find that there are passengers in the rear seats and you cannot see, then there's a button called as the view function, and using that you can activate this rear camera given out here, and on your infotainment screen you will be able to see the rear view. You get this black sort of glossy plastic that goes from one end to the other. At the bottom you will see this reversing light which has been incorporated, and these reflectors out here, and there is another chrome strip which is given at the bottom which continues from one end to the other. And then yeah, it just looks for some reason the bumper to be, you know, a little extended too much, I feel. I don't know, let me know in the comment section below if you also feel like that, you know, this bonnet, actually the back end actually looks a little stretched to me. But the exhaust tip is actually mounted behind the bumper. Now when it comes to the boot space, but how do I open the boot? That's where the tricky bit is. So there is no button for the boot, so in order to open it you either have to have the key and use the key to open it, or there is the smart access that you can do, but it's not opening because the car is locked. So when I open the boot, in order to open it I have to go in front, press it, then open it. Now in this current setting you can put 453 liters of boot space that you will get in this, and it's not actually too bad, and it's not actually the best in its class, but it's decent enough to accommodate like 2 big bags in the bag. And also there are like small like areas in the boot that on both sides offer a little bit of extra space. And also the boot opening is pretty wide, although the height of the boot is a little raised up, so you know you really have to, you know, lift your luggage and put it in. And there is fair bit of lip out here, and also there are these scuff plates so that you don't damage your bumper. And at the bottom you will find a spare wheel with the tool kit, and the seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40. So there are levers given out here, so you have to pull, and they have the mentioned on those levers that you have to pull. But in order to fold down those seats you have to go in the front again, bend them. I'm going to just do one only. So yeah, and the thing is there is not much of a boot storage that you will get. It's just that if you have longer objects, then you can, you know, just put it inside and then, you know, slide them in. And also the seats are actually raised up than the boot floor, so yeah, it's a bit of a stretch of, you know, pushing those longer items into the bag. Now on the inside, the Sonata offers you sophisticated and attractive space with upscale features and also lots of passenger space. But let me start off with the basic material quality. So you get soft touch dashboard out here, and just normal plastic. Some places where they have used, like I've realized they've used on many places where, you know, they should have put like, you know, soft touch plastics, like out here even on the door this is like a normal plastic. It's soft, but yeah, it just doesn't go with the interiors that way. There is this white color leather handrest out here on the door cards, and out here there is plastic again. So usually where you're gonna be resting your legs, again, yeah, that's hard plastic. And out here again there is soft squidgy plastic. At the bottom there is normal plastic, and then you will see these designs out here which is like the L shaped. Again, these are on the door cards also, and also out here near the gear selector, and that is all inspired from the light design that you saw in the back and also in the front. There are these mood lightings out here, and then you can customize into like 1,000 colors. So there is a dial on your infotainment screen using which you can just change all the different colors out here and set whichever light you want as per your mood. Now when it comes to the multi-information display, you get 12.3-inch LCD display, but when you start the car or when you enter in, there is a nice bit of graphics that plays on the screen. And then when you start the car, there is also this nice bit of you know, animation that pops up on your screen when these dials light up and when they actually start functioning. So you have 2 dials on both the sides. One is your speedometer on the left side, and on the right side you can customize your dials, and in the center you will see like information for your trip, like, you know, accumulated info, your attention level, the tire pressure, and then also the drive mode and the RPM in digital, and then contents where you can actually press OK and then, you know, add more stuff to it. it. And also you can see the fuel economy, you can see the driving information and all of it. And also there's another button on the steering wheel with when you press, you can change the screen in the center, which shows you like a compass and also the drive information. Again, all your attention level, tire pressure, all of that information can be seen also in the center screen. Now when it comes to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel, and if you see the design of this steering wheel, it's very similar to the Genesis, so I think they borrowed the design from that, but nonetheless it looks really cool on this one. And you get these plastic paddle shifters out here, and the steering wheel is tilt and telescopic, so you can adjust both, and it's actually pretty smooth, you know. Yeah, you can see it on your screen right now. Like, yeah, it's very simple, easy and effortless that way. And on the right side you will find the controls for your adaptive cruise control, and on your left side you will find the controls for your communication and the infotainment controls. And there are these two buttons on in the center, and those buttons are actually quite thin, you know, and quite tricky to operate sometimes, especially the adaptive cruise control buttons, you know, because yeah, you may tend to just, you know, confuse the two buttons, and because they are just so small, so yeah, the actual area of touching them is really small. So yeah, maybe a bit of change or a dial or something out here, that would be really, you know, helpful. And even the turn sticks that they've given, they also have this sort of nice design at the edge, like it's really quality when you touch them. And when it comes to the air conditioning control, again Hyundai has stuck to the basic formula of, you know, giving everything button operated, and so you get two big dials on both the sides to control your temperature, and it's a dual zone air conditioning control that you get. And then you can change there's an on off button for your AC, and then you can change the fan speed, and then, you know, simple buttons, one button for all the functions, so you can change the fan speed. There are two buttons on both the sides which are for your ventilated and heated seats that you get on this car. So those buttons actually are a little tricky, so when you press on top, it's the heated seat option, and then when you press at the bottom, it's the cool seat, and then yeah, it works a little sort of, you know, opposite way, so you have to get used to how they function. And when it comes to this infotainment screen, this is a 10.3 inch LCD screen again, and it's a nice and big display which is angled towards the driver, and it's got these buttons on both the sides which are capacitive touch buttons, and there is this volume dial, so if you are someone who misses the other dial for the scroller, then yeah, that has disappeared from here. And on your screen you will find big widgets for your navigation system, for your radio controls and the trip information, and you can change those displays also, all these widgets from the infotainment screen. You can customize all these menu options, and then you can put them on your screen whichever you want to see. And then when it comes to the navigation system, it's pretty alright, like it's pretty crisp that way, and it's also big and bright, and then you can choose to have the full navigation system on your screen and then, you know, operate that. So yeah, in terms of that, the usage is pretty alright. And when it comes to the sound system, you get 12 speaker Bose music system, and have a listen to this Bose music system. It got me stoned. Now when it comes to the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth, the USB, and also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. In general, the system is pretty easy to learn and very intuitive, and also it's got this dark theme out here which obviously you can change, but I like this theme which goes with the whole, you know, interior of this Sonata. And it's also very snappy that way, it's like, you know, there's not much of a lag. So yeah, I think this system is pretty good, and it's a very welcome update compared to the older generation. If you have noticed, there is no gear stick out here, so instead of that, the gear changing system has been moved into button operated. So you have your button for your park, your reverse, neutral, and the drive system. And I'm actually glad that they've actually not put it on the dashboard somewhere, because that's a little tricky sometimes. But instead, out here, instead of the normal lever, you have the buttons, but that is still easier to get used to. Now in the door cards, you will see that there is no door handle, but it's just been incorporated into this big handrest. So yeah, when you're first entering and getting out, you may get a little confused as to where the door handle is, but worry not, there is like a slot given out here. And when it comes to the storage, you can put like very little storage, I'm afraid, because you can put like half a liter worth of bottle in both the front door cards and even in both the rear door cards. So yeah, that way it's a little small to my surprise. And then there are these two flexible cup holders out here and a slot for your phone. There is also another storage out here underneath the air conditioning controls to store your wallets and phones. And also this pad actually acts as a wireless charger also, but the wireless charger requires a little bit of precision when you are putting it, and when you put it in the right place, then only it starts charging. And then there is also this glove box out here, which is pretty alright in terms of size. And then there is this center armrest in which there is a storage which is big enough. Again, that's actually bigger than the door cart, so yeah, you can put like more than half a liter or maybe 1 liter, one bottle inside it. There's also more storage on the sides to put your phone. Now when it comes to the connectivity or charging, you get two USB ports in the front and one 12 volt 180 watt power socket, and also, as I mentioned, there is a wireless charger, and there is one USB port given for the rear passenger. So the Hyundai Sonata comes with a panoramic sunroof, but this sunroof actually doesn't open quite a lot, although it's a panoramic sunroof, and you will see, yeah, it just stops here. When it comes to these seats, these are white color leatherette seats, and they are super comfortable that way. And also they are perforated seats because they are ventilated and heated seats. They have nice support on the sides, and also they are quite broad that way so that you can get in very easily. And also they are quite comfortable for the longer journeys, while the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable. And I found sometimes that the driver side seat just stops functioning, but when you put it like in front and then try to use it back again, it comes back alive, like for some reason. And also the controls, you can see it on your infotainment screen, like if you're going in front, it will show you with an arrow direction that it's going front and back and all of that. And also two-way lumbar control that you will get on this driver side seat, while the passenger side seat you can only adjust 4-way electronically. Now in the back you get quite a bit of knee room, as you can see, and also the headroom. And a part of the reason why you get a lot of headroom is there are like cutouts in the roof, and which is why you get that extra bit of head space, so someone about 6 feet can easily fit out here. And extra bit of knee room, but there is no room to slide your feet under the seats, so that during the longer journeys can be a little uncomfortable. But these seats are in my driving position, so it's pretty impressive that way in terms of the space that it offers for the rear passenger. And when I come in the center, there is a bit of a hump out here, and now which is why you see my head is actually brushing the roof, because there is no cutout out here. So this is more for the rear seats are more for two passengers instead of the third one. Like if the third one is a little shorter than 6 feet, then can fit in here in the middle seat, but there's a bit of a hump too. And there is a bit of a tunnel also out here, but not much that it would sort of make things uncomfortable for the middle row of passenger. These are again perforated seats, and they are leatherette white color seat. And there is also a handrest out here, and there are two cup holders, but then these are just the normal cup holders, but not the flexible ones. So smaller cups, or the bottles will be just dangling in here. And as I said, you can put like half a liter worth of bottle in the door cards, and then you see like the soft touch plastic which has been given. There are these sun blinders for that extra bit of privacy for the rear passenger, and there is one USB port out here and two air conditioning vents, so you can't really control the flow of air or anything. You can just either switch them off or keep them on. So this Hyundai Sonata is powered by a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder GDI engine that produces 194 brake horsepower and 245 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission while it's a front wheel drive car. Now when it comes to this whole transmission, The engine is all right, but then it's only when you want to accelerate, it's when the engine feels a little sluggish sometimes, and slow to respond. Like, just let me slow down a little bit and then try to demonstrate you that. Like you see, there's a lot of time before it starts picking up and accelerating. So yeah, that's just one thing which is a little slow that I found, but once it starts going, it's pretty all right that is. And I'm glad that Hyundai has actually kept the automatic transmission, which is this 8-speed, still offered in this Sonata instead of the usual CVT that you usually find these days, by so many manufacturers that keep them, and then that makes things very slow and very sluggish. But yeah, in this it's pretty all right that way. And when it comes to the efficiency from this engine, on a day-to-day basis, I'm getting anywhere between 11 to 12 kilometers per liter. You can actually get up to 13 to 13.5 on a longer run. So that way it's pretty all right. Also, there are special driving modes out here. So like there are like eco mode, there is a smart mode, there is a sport mode, there is a comfortable mode, and then there is an individual mode. Yes, a lot of modes, but honestly comfortable mode is the best one. I tried putting it in the sport mode, and also there are these paddle shifters again, but then the shifts are like a little slower than usual, but I would just prefer to put it in the comfort mode and just keep cruising along, because in the sport mode all it does is just the changes at a higher RPM the gears. Now when it comes to the steering wheel, is an electronic steering, so there is a varying sensitivity. So at lower speeds the steering is very smooth. At high speed there's a good amount of weight, there's good feedback also, and also relatively the car is pretty good in the turns, and when you are doing some sharp turns. And the thing is, the Sonata actually weighs quite a lot, and you can actually feel it from the car. In fact, it's just over 1.5 tons, so I can actually feel the weight in this car, and especially the front engine and all. I see the weight distribution in the front, and which is why there's a bit of a understeery moment sometimes when the car is tending to be a little lethargic when you try to turn it in. When it comes to the suspension, again, the suspension is not exactly soft and it's not exactly hard too, so it's somewhere in the middle. But because of that, the ride quality is somewhat comfortable, but it could have been a little more comfortable compared to the competitors. And because the suspensions are somewhere in the middle, so there is not much of a roll out here when you're trying to turn in around. That's usually a good thing. Now when it comes to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this one, but the pedal is a little too sensitive, and it's just very grippy the moment you sort of dab a little bit. But let me demonstrate you by showing you a full emergency stop from say 80 kilometers and then up to 0. Oh wow, yeah, it grips really well. It just grips very well. But the thing is that it's just very instant. Like I want the pedal travel a little bit. Yeah, that's the only thing. And when it comes to the noise levels, so there's a bit of a noise from the front end that I usually sense, like especially when it's a very windy day, you will actually feel the noise coming in from the front and around. But otherwise, that is pretty quiet. If it's not a windy day, there's no wind whooshing or anything, but there are a bit of tire noise that you will sometimes find out here from the front. Again, everything is from that front end, which is why there's a bit of a noise that leaks into the cabin. When it comes to the safety systems, Hyundai goes all out. In fact, it's one of the class leading safety systems that you will find. So you get 6 airbags, 2 for the driver and the passenger front airbags, then 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are 2 curtain airbags on both the pillars, and there's also tire pressure monitoring system. There is child isofix points in both the rear seats. There's also a 360-degree camera system, and it is absolutely fabulous. There is no doubt about that, because it's so clear. Like it's crisp. You can see every single detail on that screen, even if there is a dark area. It's like watching a TV. It's literally like on your phone how you see stuff. That's exactly how you would see on this car. There's also a lane keep assist. There is also lane departure warning, and there is something called as safe exit assist. and in that safe exit assist, so when you're parallel parked and if there is a traffic when you're trying to open the door, the car would actually warn you to tell you that someone is coming around, so you do not open the door. And that's actually a pretty clever feature. And there is also a front and a rear passenger or a traffic alert system that you will get from this car, and also there is a pilot assist that you get when you are using the adaptive cruise control, or also when you're not using the adaptive cruise control, you can just leave the pilot system on and it will just guide you in the lane. There's also ABS, there is also traction control system, there is also the hill descent control. When it comes to the pricing, this Hyundai Sonata is priced somewhere around 127,000 dirhams. Now the thing is, the Hyundai Sonata isn't about the price, but it's more about the value that it offers, because let's be honest, there is so much of tech, there's so much of comfort levels, there is actually the interior quality is way better than what it is in its class, and at that price point. So yeah, that way it's and let's be honest, when you're going to buy this, the exterior is something which is going to be a head turner for sure. So yeah, that way it's a pretty unique car in the mid-size sedan segment. So yeah, that way it completely justifies the price tag that it is offered at. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel and leave all the notifications on, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye and take care.